Welcome to My Minutes. It's like so relatable, right? This whole sandwich generation thing, but with a twist. Parents who oversacrifice, kids who, well, don't. It's a recipe for family friction, isn't it?
It is. This dynamic of parents enduring hardship unnecessarily, even when they don't need to, creates a real disconnect between generations. Like they refuse to take a cab, insist on wearing old clothes, even eat expired food, all while the kids are pulling their hair out.
Exactly. And it's not just anecdotal. This article highlights a trend, particularly among 30-somethings dealing with this. They're established, want to help their parents enjoy life, but meet this wall of almost stubborn self-denial.
It's tough. The article digs into potential reasons, right? Like, is it a generational unworthiness thing? Having grown up with so little, do they just not believe they deserve better?
That's one angle. But it goes deeper. Think about it. Their idea of a good life was probably pretty basic: food, clothing, shelter. Now that's achieved, but they're still not content. Why? The goalposts have moved. Social media, rising living standards, it all creates this sense of relative deprivation.
Right, so it's like they see others with more and feel like they're falling behind, even if objectively their needs are met, and then they double down on the scrimping and saving, thinking it'll somehow bridge that gap.
It's like a self-perpetuating cycle almost. Add to that the pressure of providing for their kids and their own looming retirement costs. It's no wonder they feel like they can't enjoy anything.
Makes you wonder about the kids, too. Are they inadvertently contributing to the problem? The article touches on this parental conditional regard, where love is tied to achievement. That's got to leave a mark.
Huge mark. That then morphs into this guilt-fueled self-attack in adulthood. My parents are suffering, it's my fault. I need to be more successful so they can finally relax. But is that really the answer? Hmm.
That's the million-dollar question. Because even wealthy families face this. It transcends socioeconomic status. So what's the solution? The article suggests reframing our understanding of hardship. What we see as suffering might actually be a source of comfort, routine, even pleasure for them.
Yeah, like that 2-kilometer walk for cheaper veggies. We see a chore, they see exercise, social interaction, a sense of control in a world that's changing too fast. It's about respecting those differences, meeting them where they are.
Absolutely. Instead of forcing change, maybe subtly upgrade their tools, safe food storage, better access to information, invest in their hobbies. It's not about erasing their habits, but enhancing their lives within their comfort zone. And you know what? Sometimes even just understanding is enough.
So it's not just about like actual hardship, right? It's this perceived hardship, this relative deprivation thing. Like everyone else has it better, even if that's totally not the objective reality. Hmm.
Totally. And the research backs this up. Studies show how this feeling of relative deprivation really messes with people's well being, affecting everything from mental health to, well, everything. It's a powerful emotion.
It really is. And think about the added layer of social media. It's like a highlight reel of everyone else's perfect life, amplifying that sense of lacking something.
Oh, absolutely. Constantly bombarded with images of exotic vacations, fancy dinners. You start comparing yourself, thinking, why don't I have that? Even if, you just had a lovely, albeit simpler meal at home.
Exactly. It's warping our perception of what a good life even is. And then you bring that warped perception into a family dynamic where parents are often unknowingly reinforcing it with their own frugality. Oof, recipe for disaster.
It's a clash of values almost. Well, parents' generation, often conditioned by scarcity, sees value in thrift, in making things last. Whereas the kids, influenced by this consumerist culture, might see it as, I don't know, almost self-punishment.
Yeah. Why are you denying yourself these things? You deserve to enjoy life. But what we might perceive as self-denial could be empowering for them. Control, purpose, routine. It's not suffering if they find meaning in it.
That's a powerful point. So how do we bridge this divide? We can't just waltz in and tell them to change their entire worldview.
Right? It's about understanding, meeting them where they are. Like, okay, you enjoy walking for those cheaper veggies? How about we get you some super comfy, supportive walking shoes? You love cooking elaborate meals? Let's equip you with the best kitchen gadgets. Small changes within their existing framework.
Subtle upgrades. Love it. Supporting their existing hobbies, helping them access information, and most importantly, acknowledging their feelings, validating their experiences. It's not about fixing them, it's about connecting with them.
So we're diving into some fascinating research today, exploring how our sense of self-worth plays out in achievement settings like school and sports. And, well, let's just say the findings might surprise you. Hmm. Oh, do tell. Is it not all about believe in yourself and you can achieve anything? I feel like I've heard that message a lot. Well, that's the classic narrative, isn't it? But this research challenges that a bit. It digs into the difference between an identified approach, genuinely valuing the activity, versus an introjected approach, which is more about proving your worth.
Okay, so identified as I love playing basketball, interjected is I need to win to feel good about myself, something like that.
Exactly. And guess what? Focusing on self-worth, that introjected motivation, doesn't actually translate to better performance. In fact, it can even backfire. The pressure can be crippling, right?
So striving to prove yourself worthy can actually hinder your progress? That's counterintuitive, yeah? I always thought a bit of self-doubt could be a motivator.
It can be, but this research suggests that when self-worth becomes the primary driver, it messes with your head. You're so focused on the outcome, on validating yourself, that you lose sight of the actual process, the joy of the activity itself. Hmm.
I see. And what about interjected avoidance? How does that factor in? I'm guessing that means you avoid things to prevent feeling unworthy?
Spot on. So you might skip a basketball tryout, not because you don't like basketball, but because you're afraid of failing and feeling like you're not good enough.
Makes sense. It's like preemptive self-protection, right? Shielding yourself from potential blows to your self-esteem.
Right. And the Kerning Hill study adds another layer to this whole self-worth puzzle. They found that young people are increasingly feeling the weight of parental expectations and criticism, which, can fuel that need for external validation.
So it's like a vicious cycle. Parents put pressure on kids to achieve, kids internalize that pressure as a need to prove their worth, and then their performance actually suffers. Oof.
Yeah, pretty much. And the pressure isn't just from parents, it's societal too, right? Social media, this constant comparison game, it all adds up. Hmm.
It's a lot. So if chasing self-worth isn't the answer, then what is? How do we navigate this whole achievement landscape without getting caught in that trap? What's the takeaway here? What does all this research tell us?
Well, it points to the importance of finding intrinsic motivation, connecting with the inherent joy of the activity itself, focusing on growth, on the process, rather than the outcome. Cultivating a genuine love for what you're doing, rather than doing it to prove something, that's where the real magic happens. Makes sense, no?
It does. It's about the journey, not the destination, cliche as it sounds. Thanks for breaking that down for us. It's definitely food for thought and hopefully a stepping stone toward a healthier relationship with achievement, both for ourselves and for the next generation. Thanks for tuning in to My Minutes, everyone. Take care, and we'll catch you on the flip side.